Today's lesson is about how to graph sine and cosine functions. Here are the steps. First of all, make sure your sine and cosine function are transformed form. Then you will identify A, B, C, and D so that you will find the new center point, that's CD. Remember, C is a linear, means always opposite of the given number. Then check what kind of graph paper you got. You figure out the period and then the unit of the graph. Then use period divided by units to figure out for each period how many units are needed. Then use units per period to label one period from the center point. You need to figure out the 5 key points of a full period from the center points. I will talk about those 5 key points later on. Then you need to connect these 5 key points according to the pattern sine, negative sine, cosine, or negative cosine. Then you can extend the graph into more periods. First of all, match each function to the correct graph. Y equals sine x. We know that sine x, when x equals 0, y should be 0, so has passed to 0, 0, which means this one or this one. Then for pi over 2, it should be 1. That's definitely D. For y equals negative sine x will be reflected across the x-axis for y equals sine of x. Therefore, that will be A. For cosine x, we know when x equals 0, that's y will be 1. Because cosine 0 equals 1, then x equals pi over 2. Cosine pi over 2 is 0. Therefore, we could say that C will be the answer. For y equals negative cosine x, means for this graph reflect across the x-axis, we got B. Then try to remember each pattern. It's very critical for you to remember this pattern when you graph sine and a cosine function. So what are the 5 key points? For example, y equals sine x, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We call these 5 points key points. For cosine x, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For y equals negative cosine x, let's get started from your minimum. Then go up, go to maximum. Going down, go to minimum. For y equals negative sine x, get started from center. Then going down, going up, up, then go down. Let's talk about that again. Y equals sine x. we got to get the 2 pi. Because the period is 2 pi, so we got pi. Half again, we got pi over 2. This half, we got 3 pi over 2. Then we got 1, here's a negative 1. So that pattern will be 0, 0. Then going up, because pi over 2 is 1. Then going down, go down, go here like a wave. So we sketch the graph like this. For y equals negative sine x, think about this s. Then you push this s down, you will get the graph like this. So we still do the 2 pi. Here's pi. Pi over 2. Then half again 3 pi over 2. We got, this is a 1, here's negative 1. Then try to find 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Therefore, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then connect these 5 points. That's the graph for negative sine x. For y equals cosine x, the graph will be like this. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we do the 2 pi. Half will be pi. Half pi over 2. Then this part is half, 3 pi over 2. Then we got 1, here's a negative 1. Remember for cosine x, we get started from maximum. Then going down, go to minimum. Going up, go to maximum. We can sketch the graph like this curve. For y equals negative cosine x, graph will be like this. Get started from your minimum. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We still label as 2 pi. Pi. Pi over 2. 3 pi over 2. Then we got 1, here's negative 1. This time we get started from minimum, then going up. Like this. So we can connect these 5 points. Yeah, that's the graph. Let's go to guided practice. Graph the following trig functions. First of all, you will figure out the A, B, C, D. A will be 2. B is 3. C is opposite to this number because inside there is a liar, negative pi over 6. Then we have 1. Center point will be negative pi over 6, 1. Remember, inside there is a liar. So for period, we got 2 pi over B means 2 pi over 3. Look at the given graph. Each unit stands for pi over 2 divided by, check how many units between this pi over 2. We got 1, 2, 3. So divide by 3. 2 drop down, that's pi over 6. So unit will be pi over 6. I label over here, that's a pi over 6. Then we will figure out how many units per period. In other words, for one period, how many units you will get. So we do period 2 pi over 3 divided by pi over 6. If both denominator we reduce, then this 6 jump and 3 go down. We will get 2 times 6 over 3 equals 4. Therefore, first of all, I will figure out the center point, negative pi over 6, 1. That's over here. Then we will form new coordinate plane. Then from this center point, I move to the right this 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's here. Then we will get half of this. That's here. Half again. Half again. Got these labels. Then A, that means from your center point, go up to, go down to get the amplitude. Since we are drawing negative sine x pattern, which means like this pattern, we need 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need to label these 5 points on the graph. We get started from center points. That's 1, then going down here, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we connect these points. We got this is a graph for one period. If you want to sketch more cycle, you can keep going. Now let's go to individual practice. We will get A, B that's equals to 1, C and D. So we got A is 2, B is 1, C will be positive pi over 4 because it's a linear, and D is 1. So our center point will be pi over 4 and 1. For the period, that will be 2 pi over 1 equals 2 pi. Look at the unit. How many units between pi over 2? That's 2. So we got pi over 2 over 2. That equals pi over 4. Then for one period, how many units? We got to do 2 pi divided by pi over 4. Then pi is gone. Jump, multiplication, that's 8. Therefore, we will figure out pi over 4. This is pi over 4. and 1 will be here. Then we got to form new coordinate plane. Then from center point, I need to get 8 units to form one period. So I count from this center point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then half will be here. Half again, then half again. Do not draw a point. Just label this vertical line, small vertical line. Points only for you to connect to form that graph. Now, since A equals 2, from center point, I go up to still horizontal line, down to here. We know cosine x pattern will be like this. From maximum, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From maximum 1, this time draw the points. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you connect these points to form this graph. That's it. Let's go to number 2. Y equals negative cosine 1/2 x plus 1. So your A will be 1. B is 1 over 2. C is 0. D is 1. Center point will be 0, 1. Period will be 2 pi over 1 over 2 equals 4 pi. Check this graph. 2 pi divided by how many units between 2 pi? That's 4. So get the pi over 2. So I label as pi over 2. Units per period, we use 4 pi divided by pi over 2. Numerator we can reduce. Then these 2 jump up. You got 8. Therefore, you will get a center point that's 0, 1 is here. Then we will form new coordinate plane. Then from center point, you will get 8 units. Count that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here. Then half, half, half. For A equals 1, we got to do that's over here. The pattern for negative cosine gets started from minimum. So graph like this. We got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. So from this graph paper, you will get started from minimum 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you sketch the graph like this. Let's go to number 3. A will be 1, B is 2, C inside is lighter, therefore opposite of negative pi over 6 is pi over 6. D is negative 1. Center point will be pi over 6, negative 1. Period, that's 2 pi over B, means 2 pi over 2 equals pi. For the unit, check how many units between pi over 2. That's pi over 2 divided by 3 means pi over 6. Units per period means pi divided by pi over 6. Numerator, pi reduce, 6 jump, you got 6. So first of all, find pi over 6 and a negative 1. That's the center point here. Then we will form new coordinate plane. Six units will form one period. Therefore, from center, I count 6 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is here. Half here. Half it's here. Half it's here. Then for amplitude, go up 1, down 1. This is a sine function, means from center point going up like this. So you need to figure out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a get started from center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we will sketch the graph like this. That's the graph for one period. Let's go to number 4. First of all, make sure this is a transformed form. So we got to do sine divided by 2. You got x minus pi over 2. Then minus 3. So A will be 1. B is 2. C, that's pi over 2, opposite. Then D is negative 3. Center point will be pi over 2, negative 3. Period, that will be 2 pi divided by 2, that's pi. Unit, according to the given graph, pi over 2 divided by 2. This is a pi over 4. Therefore, I use pi divided by pi over 4. This to reduce 4 jump, you got the 4. Then we will find the center point first. Pi over 2, negative 3. That's here. Then find those 4 units from the center point. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then half, half, half. A equals 1, so go up 1, down 1. For sine x, pattern will be this. So get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Get started from center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So sketch the graph like this. This is the graph for one period.